Hello and welcome everybody to this week's episode of the Profit Project interview series, where we're going to be talking about all things business growth. And I'm super excited to have on the line Patricia Kaziro from Radiate Coaching, who is an amazing impact business coach. So welcome to the show today, Patricia.
Thank you so much, Craig. It's great to be here.
Okay, so we've known each other for a little while now. We've met through networking and through social media and those sorts of things. And what I always love to share with people to start with, how about a bit of background around your business, what you do and how you got started, in as much as your why in business?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So I am an impact business coach based here in Sydney. And my specialisation within coaching is really to help people set up not only profitable businesses, but also sustainable and impactful businesses so that they can really tap into this trend towards impactful business. Because I do think that that's the new frontier of business, is to create businesses that also protect our planet and bring about equality in our communities through who they serve. So as a coach, I help my clients with strategy and developing the vision, the purpose, the mission and values behind their business, as well as thinking longer term about what sort of impact they can create far beyond them being the CEO or managing the operations of the day-to-day business. Like, what can they set up in the future and how can they bring in other people to keep that legacy of impact going?
Yeah, that's a great background. And I know that's what, when we very first started talking with each other, it just resonated so much with me around, having an impactful business and,
Yes.
looking at saying, well, what can you give back once you've created a great sustainable business? But how did you get started in the impact space in the first place as well?
Yeah, so prior to coming into business, I actually I set up a community service. So into this particular business, I should say. So in my first business, I set up a community service, and this community service was called Grow Horticultural Therapy Program. And we essentially helped mental health outpatients who were placed with St Vincent's Hospital and other inner city health providers in Sydney into this community-based recovery program where they learnt gardening and cooking skills. And I set that up and facilitated the classes. And I guess we need to backtrack a little bit because to give the context there. But when I was at uni, I studied sociology and social work. And so my passion has always been social justice and community development. And I also studied a postgraduate degree in education. So I've essentially woven together different things that I'm passionate about, which is learning, helping people to have a better quality of life. And I now do this through business because I think that business is the fastest way to create social change and equality. I think it's the fastest way to fix our environmental problems. And I say that because I have a background in teaching, in project management, in government. And to be honest, you always get slowed down by some sort of roadblock that you stumble across when you work in a large organisation like that. And any entrepreneur can tell you that one of the joys of running a business is the speed at which you can create, whether it's create money, create wealth, create social impact. You have this ability to create and the power to create. So really, I've just shifted my impact ventures and initiatives into business because I think that's the way that we can create a lot more impact in the future and divert some of our profits into causes and interests that we really care about. Yeah,
that's such a good little insight into how it all started, and also moving through that. I guess in the passion that people can see you showing through the passion behind that, and I totally get and understand the bureaucracy around slow-moving beasts that are sometimes the public service or some of these places. I've worked there myself. Working in these $100 million business, public service departments and the like, and you're like, yeah, cool, there's so much things that can happen, but it's like pulling teeth sometimes to actually make it happen. So I think, you touched on a few points there. I'm interested in, as you had done that transition and, moving to the entrepreneurial world, and as you say, it's a great vehicle to be able to create the change. What challenges have you found yourself as you sort of started and you did do that pivot?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is that we're at this point where we're shifting towards sustainable and ethical and for-purpose business, which means it's not entirely new, but it's still going to take a while to catch up in the mainstream with this way of thinking. So for me, I feel that I'm at the forefront of this movement because I had, years ago coming into university studying social work and sociology, doing my postgraduate degree in education and social ecology. These were really like innovative ideas that still need to catch on into the mainstream. So I think one of the challenges is that unless I'm talking to somebody who's already got that consciousness and really deeply cares about the environment or social issues, I can come up against a bit of a wall and a pushback of like, why would you focus on that in business? Like a lot of people are still geared towards making money, personal wealth, as opposed to thinking collectively and more holistically about what we can truly achieve through business. So for me, coming from community services and working with educators and people who've been committed to this view of community wealth, that's a challenge in values to try and reconcile with people who haven't yet made that jump. And it's a good challenge. I like a challenge. And I think, we need to work together. For me, I haven't worked in corporate. So I love meeting people who've had a very different way of thinking and can bring that knowledge into the way that I do business and focus more also on profit, because with that profit, we can create more impact. So I think it's bridging those differences in ideology and working together to create collective impact that interests me and challenges me.
Yeah, I think you've touched on a couple of awesome ones there, and I think that's why we've always had some really good conversations and synergies as well, because, you touch on the profit side of things, and obviously, I've been working in the profit first environment of focusing on, profit first, but also profit doesn't necessarily mean pure cash and the like. But again, likewise, what you talked about, one of the challenges we experience the same thing. It's a different idea. It's not embedded in the mainstream yet. And so therefore you do have to actually do this whole education piece. But also, I can see the smile in your face as when you start to get people opening up their minds, the power that they can create, where people actually, you've taken them on that journey, the impact actually then becomes far greater than potentially somebody that just comes in, I know this and I know that, and you can have far more impact around that. And so I guess, interested in your take on that, in as much as, the benefits that you see when people do start to open their mind and bring on this sort of impact focus along with the sustainability side of the business. What are some of the benefits that you see clients and people you work with that they get?
Yeah, well, I think really what I love about my job as an impact business coach is that I help people to evolve personally, and it's their personal growth to be able to leave a legacy. So people often don't understand their full capacity and capability, and it's by working with me that we start to drill down to what they really care about. So people really rise up and surprise themselves with their capacity to give and tap into their deepest values and what they care about through their business. And that's such a powerful transformation process that I help people through. So they start to understand how they can give back to their community or the issues that they care about. And they're doing that through their everyday business. So it's not something you need to wait to do till you're 60, that kind of old-fashioned notion of leaving a legacy. For women as well, it's really powerful because as women, I don't think we've, for my generation, really been raised to think of ourselves as leaving a legacy. That's a very sort of masculine notion. And I'm often asked, isn't leaving a legacy for people who are older? And I say, well, why wouldn't you want to get up every day and know that your work, your business, your everyday business operations are contributing towards something. And so we look at holistically how impact can be embedded into the business culture. Maybe it's paying people above an award wage. Maybe it's giving a percentage of the profits to a cause that people care about. It might be hiring people who are diverse and don't normally get an opportunity to work in a certain industry or sector. There's so many ways to create impact. So as a transformation process for my clients, it's like their minds start to open up, their hearts start to open up to what their capacity and their impact in the world can be. And that's a really powerful transformation process that I'm glad to be part of.
Yeah, I can totally appreciate with that. And I've got a few little goosebumps and tingles because that's such a powerful impact and, journey that you can take people along, that whole transformative process. And
yes.
Like you say, it's this notion of business of, building foundations and getting them stopped, of ultimately having an impact and providing a legacy. And it's something that, something that, again, I'm caught up in the world of, Mike McCullough's and a few of his books, and his most recent books called Fix This Next. He's very much tied at, the business world, relating it to, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where he sort of equated it to the business hierarchy of needs, and at the top of those is very much impact and legacy. It's the final two things of business, but obviously before then as well, you've got that journey of, hey, you've got to get the sales, you've got to get the profit, you've got to get the order and efficiency around it. And what I love is what you've just covered there is you're stepping people through that whole process of being able to go, hey, from the foundational levels all the way up to that impact and legacy.
Correct. And I think helping people to understand that they can start small and it doesn't need to be about diverting funds in the first instance, because you do need to set up a sustainable business in the first instance that you can balance out where all of your profits are going. But I think it's helping people take those first steps and then supporting them on their journey as impact CEOs and leaders.
Yeah, awesome. You've covered some awesome, cool little bits there. And we do like to keep these nice and short and sharp, these little interview series. But I know somebody's going to be wanting to go, I want to know more. Where can I find out more about you and your business and your programs that you provide, Patricia?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So the best place would be to head to my website, which is www.radiatecoaching.org. And definitely connecting with me via the platform. There's a contact form. She'll shoot me an email. I'd love to hear what sort of impact goal you might have. What sort of dream might be hidden away there that you'd like to work towards, and see how I can help you in that process to bring the vision to life.
Yeah, awesome. And obviously we'll include all the details, that plus your social links, into the notes that will accompany this conversation here today, because I highly encourage anybody out there to reach out, connect. We've been talking for quite a while now, and every time we have a conversation, I learn something new, and you open up my eyes and my mind so much. So I appreciate that from you, and also very much appreciate you joining us on the call today.
Thank you so much, Craig. It's been a real delight to join you, and thank you for your interest in my work and the people that I serve.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And so again, as always, everybody, make sure you continue to follow interviews like this and get connected with great people that are doing amazing things in the world, just like Patricia. So continue to follow us here at theprofitproject.com.au. See you soon. Bye.